If you asked me as a kid what was the greatest golf brand in the world, I'd probably say Nike because of, well, things like this and this guy. And so for today's episode, we're going to focus on the Nike golf ball, which, although no longer in production, made a great impact on the history of the golf ball, at least in the late 20th and now early 21st century, and is going to be the subject of our video for today. Here are the golf balls we cut up for this video, and as you can see, we're going to focus first on the golf balls on the left and right. We're going to look at this idea of a wound ball versus a solid golf ball. From my research, most golf balls up to the late 90s were a wound golf ball. And here's an example of one. This is a Titleist DT Wound 90. We had very rarely would you see actually solid core balls like we see today. And so this is me cutting open a wound golf ball. And as you can see from my facial expressions, they kind of tell everything. I've never done this before. And what I noticed was that it's really easy to cut through this thing. So much so that it actually explodes, which, if you can see, that's my genuine reaction. I knew there were rubber bands involved. I just didn't know it would continue growing and explode like that. Here's an up-close picture. The idea being that the rubber bands would help with the quote-unquote elasticity of the ball, which could help the ball fly further. There's still a solid core in the middle to help with impact, but it's a relatively light golf ball with more of the weight being on the outer shell. Here's just to give you a comparison. On the left is the DT Wound 90 I cut up, and on the right is a Titleist Pro V1 from 2017. And as you can see, almost all, if not all, golf balls these days are produced in a solid core. So Nike was the first one of the first major leading companies to switch to solid core balls. And the reason why they're still around, even though the performance between the two is not that different, is, well, like we saw in the earlier video, because of this guy, and solid golf balls are now here to stay. Here's something interesting. I thought to give my golf balls a proper send-off, I'm going to cut them open. I also thought maybe I could have a nice little session in which I compare the different Nike golf balls and their performances. Unfortunately, when I watch other people doing it, it's because they can actually hit a golf ball well. I just stuck with the send-off. As you can see, here was my target, and that's where all my golf balls landed from 40 yards out. So proper send-off for the golf balls, but not much to be learned from that. The second thing I wanted to look at was Nike's use of new materials and their willingness to try new things in the golf industry. It's said that Tiger Woods always wanted a better golf ball, so he would constantly push R&D to try new things. And one of the new things they tried was a different material for the core. Traditional golf balls are similar to what we have here on the left with this, which is the Nike Mojo, a two-piece construction with a rubber core. But Nike wanted to try something different, as you can see, with a different core material known as resin, which instead of being heated is chemically treated and forms stronger chemical bonds in theory, which can allow the golf ball to fly farther and connects the core stronger to the mantle. So even as you feel and as you look at it, it's shinier, it's glossier, it's also lighter in weight. The feeling is completely different. This resin core is also still used by other golf balls, such as the TP5, which we had cut open in an earlier video. And so for the last thing I want to focus on is this final transition from and Nike's commitment to innovation and the legacy that it's left for today. Something that you might not know is that many of the Nike golf balls, if not the entire Nike golf ball R&D team, was actually a Bridgestone team. Bridgestone had produced a lot of Nike golf balls, and Bridgestone, which still works with Tiger Woods today, is a very famous golf ball company, still pushing the edge of trying new things. The last golf ball I cut up was the Nike Platinum 1. That was a blue-looking ball right here. And as for someone who's a science person, I just really geek out with stuff like this. And hopefully you learned something from this video. Here's me trying to look cool, and I don't know what I'm trying to do here. But anyways, if you have any questions or anything you wanted to talk about, throw it in the comments. I'd love to learn more with you. Thanks for watching.